Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 14 for the puddle spit round for CRL. Here we are at Sochi in Russia, and today I am joined by Harvey Lees.
Hello. Thank
Hello.
you for having me, guys.
No problem, mate. I'm glad to have you here with me. So, obviously, around Russia, it's very, very difficult to overtake, and especially with the corner cutting as well. So, what are you expecting from this race?
Yeah, I mean, we've got that massive straight, haven't we? But Sector 3 is awful. You just get caught up in the dirty air and you lose a lot of time. But I think, see, for me, I think it's quite obvious to say that nobody really likes the track to watch racing, really. But I think driving it, and especially in quali laps, the car just feels so nice, especially in Sector 2, just sort of hitting them apexes. It just feels really nice when you hook up a good lap. But yeah, we'll see. But I think a lot of invalidated laps to come. But yeah, that's what we like to see. Drivers pushing to the limit, making mistakes. But yeah, excited.
So last week we saw an epic battle between Total P's and Jeroen Visser. They're still fighting for P2 in the championship, and the gap has reduced to 4 points. If I do my maths correctly, it was over 40 points. No, it wasn't actually. That was the last race. But they were so close in Bahrain, and Total P's has actually overtaken Jeroen Visser for second place. But the battle is still on with these last two races. It's been epic. Have you watched these battles between Jeroen and P's?
Yeah, I mean, those two guys, well, obviously, Wouter's been in a league of his own, but Pease and Jerome have been absolutely scrapping it. And I watched Bahrain, and that was I was amazed that Jerome couldn't get Pease on the last lap. I think he saved up too much, and he didn't want to overtake too soon because DRS is too OP, but what a race from Total Pease to use his ERS wisely in the last lap and just re-overtake Jerome, because I think Jerome got him back on the main straight, didn't he? And then P's got him back, but yeah, it's a great race from both of them.
Yeah, and there's two races left to go, and they're separated by 4 points, 306 for Total P's and 302 for Jeroen Visser. So elsewhere in the championship, there's still a battle going on between Tigriff and Nathan for PA, and Het Bonpier as well. Het Bonpier being down there in P7 didn't have a particularly good race, neither did Isaron Knight, who is not attended tonight, so the Alfa Romeo must be reserved by somebody else. Het Bonpier is here tonight. Arthur is teammates with Jaime, who was in the Red Bull last week. So I'm going on board with Seymour Gamer as he makes his way around the final corner, going through this Russian track then as he makes his way down the long straight. DRS enabled. They call this turn 1 just for easy flat out, just get as close to the curve as you possibly can. Then we make our way down into the braking zone into turn 2, braking just before the 100-meter board. Clip the apex of the entry, avoid the sausage curves because they will catch you out if you're not careful. Then you want to hug this curb as much as you can, just magnet, be attached to it. Then straighten the car up, swing it into turn 4, use the 4th gear, try to avoid that sausage curve if you can. Then the end of the first sector comes, then making our way down to turn 5, brake before the 50-meter board, using all of the curve and run it out wide to the exit. Good exit there from Seymour Gamer. The next corner, right-hander, brake before the 50-meter board. Yet again, you want to use all the track if you possibly can. Just swing it in, attack these curbs as much as you can, and make our way down towards the right-hander, braking before the 50-meter board, clip the apex, and run it out wide at the entry. DRS comes with you very, very shortly. Then DRS is enabled then for Seymour Gamer, making his way down towards the heavy braking zone where possible overtaking opportunities as we make our way down to the 100-meter board. Brake there, brake down to 3rd gear, 4th on the exit. Just be careful because the tyres will start to overheat. Coming to the absolute limit of this track. This one here, clip the apex. Oh, we snatch of oversteer there for Seymour Gamer. That will catch many people out. It's a very difficult section there. And Seymour Gamer then, you can see him sliding all over the place, makes his way through the penultimate corner. Nice and easy last corner, and this lap time will be a 31. Oh, he spins, he actually hit the wall.
Wow. And there we can see a prime example of how tricky that last sector is. Lots of oversteer, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're going to see many people invalidate.
You get quite a lot of grip in the first and second sector, but that third sector, the tyres die off, and especially on your, as was a 31.5% of the pace, as you come into that last corner, kind of want to throw it in because the finish line is right as you come out the exit of the corner, but on your outlap you want to get a really nice exit, so you want to kind of take it slow in, but yeah, see just bit too much there, but I mean he set a lap time, so I'm sure he'll be somewhat happy with that, I guess.
I think Foul Fury has, I can't see it, but there's an AlphaTauri that was
Yeah,
stationary momentarily on the track. I think he's just crashed. He lost traction probably coming out of the corner, and into the wall he
I
goes.
didn't
That's a
quite
common
catch
thing.
that. Yeah,
He did deny me. I just saw an AlphaTauri stationary on the track, and Marcus on his lap. The total P's goes quicker with a 30.8. So the first man in the 30s then, as we keep an eye on Mark come towards these two slow corners here. Take it through third gear. Bring it out wide so you can stick a shot your way out of the corner. But he goes a bit deep though. He didn't get the best possible exit he could have out of that corner. Make his way down to the penultimate corner. J Law up into second place. Where is Mark going to go with this lap time? A 30.9 up into second place. Only a tenth off of the best lap time set by Total P's. Next man to cross the line is a Williams, and that's Jeroen, which is a 30.6.
you will spun. Not managed to hit the wall though, so he's done well to keep it out. But yeah, massive snap of over once again. I think it's just relentless this track, isn't it? If you do a little mistake, the tyre temperature go off, and just managed to keep it out of the walls. Lucky for him, but Jeroen absolutely smashing the timesheets right now with a 30.661. Total P just behind, so you can see always so close together with Mark right behind them, and decent lap from AJ as well, right on a 31. Ferg as well with an impressive lap. J Law in there as well. We got two Ferraris, I think, coming across the line now.
Yeah.
As Arthur starts to set his lap.
Well, it has encountered some traffic by his teammate, the Red Bull and the Haas, and they get out of the way. But interestingly, he's opted to go on those medium compound tyres, the mid-range tyres. That he's not going to use them in Q2 for sure, because this track is an easy one-stop. Soft and medium should be the case for these drivers, if not soft or hards, depending how early you're going to pit, or if you crash early in the race, then switch over to the hards.
Walter's quick enough to do this on the mediums. It just depends if the track favours him or not. But obviously the fastest guy on the grid this year and is already champion, so I'm sure he'll be able to get into Q2 on these mediums. But we'll have a look. Just going into this final sector now. This part of the track is so tricky, and you've got to make sure you don't hit all them sausage curbs. And this corner right here, on board with Walter, just nicely clipped that curve there, and again hitting the apex, absolutely flat out. Nicely hitting the apex here again, and just absolutely send it into the last corner. And it is a look at that, 30.8 on the medium tyres. So there is why this man is champion, because he could do things like that on slower tyres. Amazing.
It is indeed. Finished every race on the podium, barring one, which is Baku. I can't remember why. I think he lost his part of his front wing and had to go in the pit lane. But other than that, Walter has been on absolute form this season, and that's why, like you said, Harvey. Yep. 30.8, only 2 tenths off as well from Jeroen Visser. 3,000 quicker than Total P's, but obviously we don't know how much pace Jeroen, Total P's, Mark has got. They could take it easy and not go, because it's Q1. Those guys you expect in the top 5 or top 6, or the normal guys that get through to Q2, they're not going to take too many risks, because like we've seen, if you take too many risks in Q1, you could possibly end up in the wall like Steve Raw Gamer did, spinning like Dual or crashing like Battle Fury. So that's why they take it easy. You don't know how much more they got to show. Plus, it's their first lap as well, and you can find a lot more pace on their second lap.
I mean, the guys who are always at the top, they can afford to not push it, and they don't have to take the risk to, get through to Q2 as Milanda's a 30.67. But yeah, if you push too much, you'll probably invalidate. If you don't push enough, you won't push the limits of the track, and you won't get fast enough time. So it's just finding the balance between pushing hard and also making sure you don't go over the limit too much and doing what Fiore did, or crashing out. It's not what you want to do, especially in Q1, because it puts you right at the back of the grid.
Rudy pops himself up into P3 in the Haas. His teammate hasn't set a lap time. He's one of the 2 drivers, or 3 shall I say, without Fiore retiring, not setting a lap time just yet. So keep an eye on those 2, Alex and Nathan, sorry. Arthur has headed back in the pit lane. He's currently P16 with a 131.7, so he's only a few tenths behind to get himself into Q2. Obviously Dubal just on the cusp there, but obviously he's going for another lap. He's on his outer lap so far, headed into a flyer lap, so let's see what he could do in these 8 minutes remaining. Plenty of time for all the drivers as well. Just seeing Seavor Game is also on the outer lap. He obviously crashed, so he's put on a brand new set of soft compound tyres. No, he's actually stayed on those tyres. He did. Nope, he's actually on a brand new set. I was on the wrong graphic there. So J Law Hepopia, C4 Gamer to Griff, Dual on a brand new set of tyres, as you expect those guys further down to be on, so they're already using up the allocation that they have for qualifying. Who else is out there? We've got Jime coming through. He's 3 tenths down the first sector, so I'm not quite sure if he's on a lap time or not. It looks like he's still going on those soft compound tyres. Never know, he could have made a big mistake in the first sector, but we'll see. Oh, DRS is wide open then on this second straight. Possible overtaking opportunities. You expect overtaking around here when like people are on different tyres. He goes 2 tenths down, but a purple middle sector, interestingly, from Jime, so that's very interesting. Got lots of time to find.
All over the curb now. And you hit the apex, swing it back round, open up the angle of the corner. Looks very good to be fair, and with that second, the purple sector, could be a good lap time here. Yeah, it's all about just hitting these apexes nicely and just knowing when to push. Just decent lap time.
Considering he's 3 tenths down in the middle sector, he actually fired a hell of a lot of time, so
yeah,
not quite
you can
sure.
see how close it all are, and look at that, top 10, 8 tenths, it's only Q1, I mean it gets closer, Q3 doesn't it, but just on board with J Lawler here, nice and deep, make sure you don't exceed, left a bit of margin there I think.
Pompey goes P3.
Sector 1, I don't know if that's valid or not, Codemasters, you know, they're a bit dodgy. Make sure you don't hit this sausage curve, because it's absolutely lethal if you go over that sausage curve and you fly. There we go. DRS open, foot flat to the floor now. I do think this area of the track will... I will say I think this will be more of an overtaking opportunity, you know, because first sector, the first straight anyway, I think people blitz the DRS more there. And also if you get a bad exit out of that corner, that first corner, you probably will be struggling. That's the main thing, especially for the race, is just don't push too hard on that last corner, because if you do, you're going to be absolutely struggling to the first corner, and you will probably get overtaken, as Jay Lawler goes fastest with a 30.619, so that's a good lap from him, and he can probably retire now, go back to the pits and just have a little relax while the rest of Q1 finishes.
So earlier on we saw Hepopia pop up to P4 with a 30.7. C4 Gamer, look at that, the gap between Hepopia and C, only 2 tenths, and he's down to P10. So if you find like 1 or 2 tenths, you could find yourself up the pecking order. And who's that across the line? That was Dual, I think, who's just up into P13. So Ferg is on the cusp of elimination, as you can see down there. We've got the real DC, we've got Arthur and Alex, interestingly, who hasn't came out the pit yet. I don't know what I'm missing. Maybe he's got a qualifying ban, but if he has, then we'll see him throughout the remainder of this session. But we expect him to come out on the track, if he didn't have one, to do some practice around here or just get those laps in, which is crucial for him.
Nathan heading towards the end of the second sector now. And it just shows that even if you're a tenth or two up, keep going with your lap, because you never know what time you can make up. And also, if you only make up a tenth and maybe a bit, you can still gain quite a lot of positions, to be fair. So it's always worth keep pushing. Nathan just finishing off his lap here. It looks quite good. I think it was a tenth and a half up. That second sector where he's going to keep on going.
No, he's not.
He's going to go box. Yeah, he's going to box. Maybe he doesn't need to, or not too sure. But P8's not too bad. I think he might just be able to squeeze through. But
who do you think? Who do you think's in the danger zone, Harvey? I think P10 downwards. Oh, I actually don't know, because it's so the caliber of these drivers. It's just unbelievable. This grid is so tacked. You just don't know, do you?
You can't predict it really, but you have to say the bottom 5 is always. If you're in the bottom 5, you have to go for that. But even the bottom 10, because you never know how much time your rivals can gain on you. So it's not worth just sitting in the pits and just letting everyone overtake you. Because personally, I would rather start P10 to 15 than P15 to 20, obviously. But yeah, as the top 7 have all retired. And Jimmy is as well. That's brave.
Have you noticed the weather? Like, it's got cloudy. Could we see a bit of rain?
I'm not sure. It could be raining later, but I've not been told by anyone. It might even be raining the race yet, but nobody's messaged me yet, so I think we might be all good. It could rain later though, which would be very interesting to see, because even though everyone's on equal performance cars, the rain can change everything. Then we see who the best drivers are in the rain, and I obviously love to see the rain. Love to see the drivers having to put 100% focus in, making sure they don't put too much throttle down and spin. Racing in the rain is exciting.
If Head Bob Pierce watching the stream, he's usually the weatherman for this race, so 2 tenths up is AJ, he's currently down to P12. Where would that 2 tenths put him? Up to P6. Oh, he's gone wide, and he hasn't validated it.
It'll be really. I mean, he's got time if he's got enough fuel in the car to go again. But that's how harsh this track is, isn't it? Centimeters, wasn't it? He's going to go again, isn't he?
That was the third sector, so he's got to cool the tyres down, just turn the ERS off, and just go for it again, because you really want to cool these tyres down. Because if you don't, you might find yourself understeer with that front tyres just overheated from the lap before. You've got to really back off and just allow the car to breathe.
In that final sector, is it?
Nah.
Rather get it early and done with, so you can recharge your battery a bit. But he is going to go again, and AJ is definitely the man to pull out of the bag. He definitely does. He's got the pace. Done decent this season, I have to say.
Duwell has, that's just popped himself up into P4, so he's definitely safe. But DC just went across the line, got up into P14, just a few hundreds away, as AJ improves almost by 1/10.
AJ.
You can see him run out of fuel there, so he's got this lap only, can't go back in the pit lane because it's coming towards the end of Q1 then, so this lap has to count. Well, it depends if the other guys make it through. We've got Arthur on an outlap, we've got TeGriff, we've got Duwell on an outlap. DC crossed the line, he's not going to go for it again because he's run out of EOS and he's invalidated it as well, so just keep it out then.
AJ has to go for this. I would not risk P13 drivers behind you. Has to be going faster. Looks very nice so far, I have to say. Nice to get the power down.
I know Arthur's a quick driver. I've been in a league with him before and he's decent, so I'd expect him to get himself out of Q1. He's on an outlap so far with a 31.7. You never know. Maybe this track you don't like, that's why he's so far down the order. But AJ making his way around the final corner. Is this P7? Yes.
Great lap. That was a great lap on somewhat old tyres. That will get him through nicely. DC pits.
Yeah, about to mention that, mate. And TeGriff, always a few hundreds down in the first sector though, but can he gain that time back in the middle and last sector? Duwell is out there as well, he's half. That's not the correct graphic there. Alright, so the first sector for Duwell, 300s up in the middle sector. I want to keep it on TeGriff as he's closer towards the line in comparison to Duwell then. Ferg is about to go back into pit lane, he's definitely safe. Oh, he's a few hundreds down.
Is not improving.
No.
Come on, Red Bulls, my old team. Need the Red Bulls to do well here, but Knowles out. So that's not good, but can TeGriff bring it back in that final set? So the technical part of the lap, it's coming towards the end now, get your foot flat to the floor, beam it to the last 2 corners, be brave. This way he starts to get nervous, get all over the track and send it into that last corner, and he is going to just improve, and he's out of the bottom 5. Just made it. Duwell is on a lap, he is improving.
I flicked swiftly towards Arthur, he's improved by the first sector, he's coming towards the end of the middle sector. Duwell gets to the curb there, he couldn't get on the throttle as early as he would have wanted because the car was just correcting itself. Duwell coming around the penultimate corner.
Is he going to send his teammate out?
No, he doesn't.
No, he does
Arthur can, he's 2 tenths up. In fact, is that enough? Because he's half a second down, 6 tenths down on Duwell, so is that enough to get himself out of Q1? Coming around the final corner now, is he going to do it? Oh, he hasn't.
No.
Oh, look at that time as well, look at that.
Jeez, so Duwell just out. Maybe the McCann boys have got a good relationship, maybe he didn't want to send his teammate out, but DC just gets in with the skin of his teeth.
So,
and yeah, I'm looking for Arthur there. It's good lap.
I wonder if Alex did have a qualifying ban because he hasn't spent a lot of time, just spent all that time in the pit lane, so he'll start down in P18 because Fiore. Oh, Harvey, can you see there's a bit of rain on the screen?
Yeah, you just see like streaks of. Here we go then. This is what we like to see, isn't it?
A mixture of weather in qualified. So J Law is a Williams 1-2. If you remember, Valtteri Bottas was almost on course for pole position back in 2014, but bottled at the final corner. But it's a Williams 1-2 so far with Milan in P3, Ferg P4, Het Bob Pierre in a good position in P5, Rudy P6. Look at the gaps. AJ
all
P7.
17 within 5 tenths.
one of them
That is
out,
crazy.
one of them out of sync in terms of tyres because Walter set his best lap time on the mediums, only 2 tenths away. But you never know what these guys up here could also do because they could have possibly taken it very easily, just not taking any risk with invalidating and just got themselves one simple lap to get through, then retired for the next ones. But looking good for Walter so far, looking good for Jeroen as
Yeah.
well, down in P2. He's ahead of Total Ps, who's down in P10, but the gap's just only 2 tenths between second and 10th. So yeah, you don't know how much time they can find, but this is going to be very crucial.
It's an advantage for Valter because we'll have an extra set of softs. To the AJ and Nathan very close together, and Walter just behind on the medium. So if it does stay dry, it'll be a good advantage. But it's raining. It is raining, and that is into weather. It's definitely into weather.
I've seen people back at the French Grand Prix, or was it? Yeah, it was definitely the French Grand Prix. People started on the dry tyre. Look, they're going out on dry tyres.
Yeah, they're going softs.
It's like a France situation where it was qualifying. It was the race.
They're all going straight away, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it might look at that. All 15 of them will go out on the track. They don't want to spend any time in the pit lane. They have to go out there. The first person in first, which is Milan. No, it's a Williams actually. Yeah, it's Milan. Is it Milan? No, it's Jeroen. So Jeroen.
Yes, Jeroen.
So first person Jeroen and has the advantage because being first place, the weather will get worsen, and there's two cars that's just left the pit lane, and that is Jaime and Rudy. They could find themselves, if it gets heavier, at a disadvantage because they stayed in the pit lane longer. Especially Rudy because he has the last pit box, doesn't he? You expect him to be out first.
Yeah, it's really unlucky for those lads who have got the pit box towards the start of the pit lane because it's the end of the pit lane because it won't get out as quick. But this is where we might see a few instances because none of the drivers will want to give any space because they just want to get on with it. But you can see, I'm just on board with Jeroen, he looks comfortable, but you can still just see the rear end of the car just sliding a bit. So it will be a bit dodgy. Obviously the lap times won't be as fast, but yeah, look how you can see none of them are giving way to each other. They all just want to get on with it, and I feel like if dirty air won't have a factor, then maybe people get in each other's ways. There's somebody, the yellow
MotoGP situation.
Yeah, a lot of things could happen here. Because look how packed they are in that final sector. Just looking at the mini-map right now.
Also, you need to give space to each other. I had a similar situation in Brazil. It was Q3, which was even worse because we only had a few minutes to set pole position like this one. So Giroud continues, but in Brazil, we all had to line up towards the penultimate corner at Junsao and just let each other go one by one. And that's the problem because I was 5th or 6th of the queue and I just lost traction because my tyres were getting colder and I had dirty air in front, so dirty air will be a factor as well. And if you're too close, it could affect your eye line toward the corner. You could go wider because you don't see the whole view in front of you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and look at Valter. Look how close he is behind Ferg.
Where is Walter? Yep.
Yeah, look at that. You can already see the effects of the rain on maybe a bit of dirty air, but that's a bit too close for comfort. But can he still get a lap? I think it's just going to be on who can set the lap first, and I do have a feeling that the drivers at the back, unless they pull out a really good lap, then they'll be in the danger zone. But,
it's all like a race, really, isn't it? It don't look like qualified. They're all racing, it seems like, but obviously they've got to do that. They've got to push. But if one driver invalidates, they've got to make way for everybody. They can't afford to get in anybody's way, otherwise it will spoil their qualified as well. So invalidated, you really got to be careful not to do that either. So Jeroen is coming towards the heavy braking zone now in the third sector, which is difficult enough in the dry, but especially in the wetter conditions, the more greasy conditions, it'll be even more difficult. Coming through turn 16 now, just take it nice and slowly, cautiously as well. His teammates right behind him, so the first two are the Williams that are going to cross the line. Jeroen coming to the penultimate corner, taking it nice and cautiously there. I think his teammate might go faster because he's getting closer and closer as Jeroen goes quickest, but will it go to his teammate? Yes, it will, by 3 tenths.
Well done, Joe. Total P's.
Mark.
There goes Mark. Surprisingly. Oh, and Bumpy's out!
Who?
Big crash. Right on the exit, just like Sieb did, and he's right in the middle of the racing line. I think he'll definitely ghosted, but the lap time is not quick enough as Milan goes fastest. All the other drivers crossing the line now, and that is a shame.
Rudy, I was aboard Rudy, had a tag slapper coming out of the final corner, hit the wall. I wonder if he's got any damage sustained on his hat. He almost hits the back of the Red Bull as well. Did you see that?
Wow, that was close. Yeah, I think Rudy's time wasn't. I think he may have known that his lap time wasn't quick, so he probably just sent it into the last corner, trying to get any bit of time he could. But so I think it will stay like that. I don't think anyone will improve. It doesn't look like the weather's getting any better. In fact, it's probably just getting worse. So going off my gut, it doesn't look like anyone improves. So I think AJ and DC could be out unless anything changes, which I don't think it does, which is a real shame because I wanted to see DC and AJ up there. Hopefully they can bring something back in the race. But
I don't see anybody going for a second lap time. It was crucial for Walter to do that lap time. As you can see, he's out of fuel, so he's only fueled that car for one lap. If he did invalidate, he could go. Yep, he could have gone through it again. So that could be it, Harvey. This Q2 session could be done and dusted already.
It looks worse, yeah.
Oh, Milan! Oh, he almost hit the back of Jaime there. That will cost him a 5-place grid penalty for either of them, especially Jaime down in P10 as well, who's just on the cusp there. So people knocked out. Yeah, they're all retiring. They're all retiring. Oh no!
Oh no! Jerome!
Jerome, what have you done?
I didn't catch that. He's hit someone. He's got a 5-place grid penalty. That is not good for his P2 battle with Total P's. I mean, you probably see a smile on the face of Total P's right now, but Jerome, I don't know if it was his fault or.
Well, Rudy's in the pit lane and Giroud's just coming in the pit lane, so I don't know how those two were close together because Giroud was in front of the queue.
Rudy, yeah.
Yeah, Giroud was in front of the queue and Rudy was in last place in the queue, so I'm not quite sure how those two ended up meeting towards each other because that's really strange. Because I would have thought Giroud would have just backed off and Rudy just flat out. We did see Rudy almost get into contact with a few people on their in-laps, but that is it, Harvey Lees. Q2 done and dusted like that.
And that's what happens when rain comes like that. Everyone gets out straight away. Everyone's so close together, as if it was a race, like you said. But it's brutal. It happened to me in Belgium a couple of seasons ago. I think it might have been this season actually, but yeah, if you don't get out quick enough, you just won't be able to set a lap, and it is unfortunate for some. Like like AJ is in the Mercedes, and the pit lane, but the pit box for him is right at the other end of the pit exit, and also both Williams are through, so you can kind of tell how, they're at the end of the pit lane, so they'll get out first. So that's quite lucky for them, but got to make the most of your luck, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly, and especially. It's a good lap time, especially for Milan, because he was further down in the queue and he still managed to go P1, Mark P2 and Ferg P3. They weren't even the first guys out of the track and they still managed to find that lap time and go quicker. So, good lap time. If anybody validated there, that'll be it. Done, dusted.
And if it is a dry race, they probably all have dry setups on as well, don't they? So they would have been struggling even more.
In the comments, Jordan told me it was a wet race, so I'm not quite sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Jordan.
Maybe they do have wet setups then.
So 2 left to retire from the session. They will go to Q3. Q2 is just over like that. If it's a dry race, the top 10 obviously will be on the soft compound tyres. AJ will have a good choice on the medium compound tyres down in P11. Nobody went on the mediums because if they went on the mediums, then obviously you lose a lot of grip because those are not the stickiest tyres at all. Not malleable compared to soft compound tyres on 1 lap pace. So the strategy around here is soft and medium. Should be an easy 1-stop. Maybe a 2-stop depending if a safety car comes out later and people go on the soft compound tyres. But 27 lap race, and also another reason why it's a 1-stop because the pit lane is very long. It's reduced to 60 kilometers an hour, and that's why you only see a 1-stop around here because a 2-stop will cost you a lot of time and you have to make all those positions back up. Might not have enough time to do so towards the end. Unless it's a 100% race, of course, but it's a 50% race here in leagues. And AJ sadly has been knocked out, along with DC, Bob, Tigriff, and Rudy. And obviously Giroud. So the lowest Giroud will start is P6.
Yeah, lowest the highest. P6. I mean, he is very good at quali, isn't he? So that's the maximum he can get is P6. But he's good enough to get the job done and make it into the top 3. I think no matter what penalty he has. Just depends on the situation of the race. If he can get some overtakes done. Bit like his Dutch friend Max Verstappen did a few weeks ago in Russia.
I didn't know
So
he
you
was
can
friend.
copy him.
I didn't know he was friends with Max Verstappen.
His Dutch friend. Yeah, Q3. Here we go. I think it will still be raining. Yeah.
Oh, look at
it's
that.
even worse. Yeah. Now it's a real test because we've got standing water, haven't we?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like heavy rain to me.
I think Total Peas is quite handy in the wet conditions as well because he's performed
Yeah.
brilliantly around the wet conditions, such as Imola this season. All the wet races
I'll
we
tell you
had.
who else as well. The man who's in first right now, Ferg. As J Lawler's on inters, and everyone else on wets, but Ferg, especially in season 4, was an absolute god in the wet, and nobody could get near him. So, if there's his chance to get pole and to win a race, it is today. Because Ferg, maybe in this next season, he might have lost a bit of pace. 'Cause he hasn't been raced for a while, but yeah, he was great in the wet. So he's one to watch, I'd say, and him, as you said, Total Peas as well. But yeah.
In that last qualified session, he made himself up into P3, so yeah, we could see him on the front row. My prediction is between Total Peas, Ferg, or Jeroen. Maybe Walter, he could be up there, but I'm not quite sure.
Don't count out Nathan as well, because Nathan could pull a lap out the bag, especially in the wet. He's good in the wet, Nathan.
I love the wet conditions too.
Any of these drivers could get pole realistically. It's that close that on a track like this as well, where you can't push too much, otherwise you're going to invalidate. It's all about confidence, isn't it?
Yeah,
If you have
exactly,
the
mate.
confidence to push the limits of the track without exceeding. I don't think it's just based on pure pace. I just think it's whoever's most confident in their abilities, really. But all these drivers are good enough to put in great laps in high pressure situations, aren't they?
Yeah, all 9 drives are out on the track except Nathan JB, who's currently in the pit lane. So I wonder when he would be joining this train soon, but he'll be out of sync compared to the others. So once he comes out of the pits, he'll have to get out of the way for everybody. And I'm just going to go on board with the first driver who's about to cross the line. I can't switched for some reason, it's stuck on Ferg.
J Lawler, isn't it? Or is it Jerome? It's Jerome, isn't it? Yeah. Don't know what age Nathan's doing. Surprised why he's not come out yet.
There he is then, Jeroen. Let's see how he tackles this track. How long is this track? This track is 5.8 kilometers long. So as he makes his way down into turn 2, brakes on the 100-meter board, double locks the front, but that won't matter too much as long as he slows down and he goes a bit deep and he's invalidated it.
Dude, that is it. Centimeters is what we're talking about here. You invalidate, and that's that hard pressure situation. The nerves and the butterflies build up as you go into that. Well, it is the first corner, but it's called the second.
Oh, I wonder what happened to Milan because he has got foot wheel damage. He's lost his left end plate. Sorry, so he made an error somewhere. I'm not quite sure because I did see an Alpine slow down on the straight. So he's lost his foot wheel somewhere, and I wonder if it was at turn 2, turn 1, sorry, whether he just hugged it too much and obviously his foot wheel kissed the wall. Not quite sure though. So we'll have to come back in the pit lane. And now he's going to be under a bit of pressure with all that time loss. So who else is next to
just absolutely dancing on board with Ferg here. His car is just like getting Senna vibes. But yeah, he's just fighting the car. Yellow flag set to 1.
That is a Alpine? No, it's a Williams. Where is he? Who is it?
J Lawler, I think.
Oh, he's crashed. Yeah, he's crashed actually.
Yeah. Unfortunate. He was looking good, J Lawler. He was looking really fast in the first few sessions. That's really unfortunate for him and for the Williams duo because they could have used some strategy plays to get a good result in the race, but still on board with Ferg.
And also helped Jeroen Vizsla in his fight with Total Peas for P2.
Nathan's just selected the intermediate, so I wonder if he's going to go for it. It doesn't look as heavy. I reckon the last laps, I think everyone will change to the inters. I do think everyone will go on the inters.
You said J Law.
Valter spun, and he's going backwards as Ferg goes fastest. But Valter is copying Sebastian Vettel from Singapore 2017. He's going backwards, and now he sorts himself out. So he must have just had a big snap of those, or just lost it.
Mark's got quickest with a 45.5. Here comes the Ferrari
Very
P2.
close.
Total Peas is P2. So Mark on provisional pole by 2/10.
Great lap from Mark.
He only had one pole position this season. I think that was back in the first race actually, is Silverstone. Yeah, it was Silverstone, I think. One pole, I think he had one win as well, but I can't quite sure. No, he has actually had one win because I actually wrote it down before the race, so he hasn't had a
Just
win.
looking at Nathan now on the Inters, he looks okay, and Jerome is on them as well.
Wow, just hit
coming out the pits.
Wow, just hit the wall again, coming into the pit lane.
What is going on with Valtteri? Just be struggling for tyre temp, maybe?
Possibly. That corner though, it's a slow speed corner, he needs to get on the throttle as quickly as you can, but as carefully as well, just tip tapping on the throttle there. So Nathan, everybody switches on the left hand side as you can see on the intermediates. Nathan is the first man out on the inters. I thought it would be J Law, but he switched back to the wet tyres, and he'd be wishing that he didn't crash in turn 2, knowing that the track conditions will get potentially a bit better. So let's see Nathan JB how he handles these intermediates.
Yeah. I think Mark as well. Pease and Mark are going for it again.
Yeah, doing more than one lap.
No, Ferg's not. I know Mark was only a few tenths down, and Ferg is gone into pits. Mark's still going. Let's see if he pits or not. I think he will pit because the Inters. Yeah, he's heading to the pits.
Yeah, Mark's back in the pits. You don't want to waste any more time on those full wet tyres. Total Pease will go back in the pit lane as well. They know now the intermediates is the better suited tyre, but he misses the pit lane and gets back in though. That could, if that was real life, would that be a penalty? I've seen.
Not if I didn't catch it. I'm just focused on Nathan as he's about to start his lap on the first man on the Inters. It accelerates away, and he's just sliding Tokyo Drift there. Nearly a tank top, just managed to keep stable. Nice and tight to the inside of the corner. Make sure you minimise as much of the track as you can. Heading into the first round now. Can he keep it brave, but also can he not exceed? Just clips the apex, and he's kept it in track limits. Decent from there. Another little slide. Really edgy on the throttle here. Decent. Kept it nice here. Hard on the brakes, swing it in. Hits the apex nicely there. It's got a little bit of traffic from Jimmy ahead, but I don't think it'll be affected too much. Tricky little corner here. Left a little bit of margin, but it's okay. Standard corners here. This is the corner where you don't want to push too hard and go over that sausage curb. He hits it beautifully. And it definitely is, I think it is Inters now for sure. Track, you can see it's not dry, but it's not as dark as you would expect it to be if it's full wets. Power into the line there now. No DRS of course because of the conditions. Tricky braking zone here, especially in the wet. But he's hooked it up nicely, a little bit deep. Can he swing it back round? Yep. Take it wider, get all the power you can. Another tricky braking zone, watch out for the curve. Open up your angles to the next corner. Can he get his foot down early? Looks good to me. Should be a decent lap time there. And absolutely swing it into the last corner. And it's going to be pole with a 45.145, so 4 tenths up on Mark. So Inters are definitely the way to go, aren't they?
Yeah, mate. I think that was a good lap there from Nathan JB, and also a good walkthrough from you, Harvey.
Thank you. It's a good lap from Nathan. Lots of squirrely moments, but managed to keep it clean.
So,
great lap.
Turn 2, turn the heavy braking zone before the after the middle sector. He lost a lot of time. Yeah. Where else did he lose a lot of time? I just noticed that he had to back out the throttle, otherwise he would end up spinning. But he's gone 4 tenths quicker in the first sector. He's continued with the second lap time because obviously the second lap will always be better than the first lap on the wet tyres, especially. The wetter tyres, you always want to do more than 1 lap. So he's already gone 4 tenths quicker, rectifying his mistakes down at turn 2 and elsewhere. Now coming in the right-hander, making a 50-metre board. This is another corner where I think he might have got a bit screwed on the exit. Does it do it this time? Nope.
Yeah.
Beautiful exit.
Nice and clean. He's really on it now, isn't he, Nathan? He's got his confidence.
Now he figures out the track limits, etc. He can start pushing even more. 7 tenths up in the middle sector. Nathan's going to keep his calm, keep his cool. He didn't go wide like he did the previous lap time. Short shifted there, experimented with the throttle, going up into 5th gear. Next one, turn 16, just clip the apex, open up the angle, get a good exit as well. Up into 4th gear, 5th gear as well, so double shifted, 6th gear, to minimise all the wheel spin. Coming into penultimate corner now, one of the most difficult 2 corners, especially the dry, because you overdo it. You tend to overdo it. Comes across the line. This is a 43.7. He's on pole. Wow, Nathan.
Wow. 1.8 in front of Mark right now. Mark's coming on his outlet right now, so this is the thing. Does Nathan have enough fuel to go again? He will make it to the line.
Or he's going for another one as well. Maybe going for another lap.
Maybe he's going for one now. I'd be surprised, but he can buy. Oh, Jerome! Jerome's on pole. 6/10. He's got a 5-place grid penalty. That is a very good lap time. The times are just falling away, aren't they?
Yes.
It's just constantly improving.
Where's Walter? I think no, he's not next to cross the line. It's Ferg who's next to cross the line. No, that's his Aston Martin teammate, C4 Gamer. So I'll go on board with C4 Gamer. Obviously, he made a mistake. It's Q1 when he spun the car around. Now he makes his way around the final corner. This could be pole, in fact. Yeah, it's a 42.4. Oh. Wow, he's 7/10 quicker than Jeroen Visser. I think C4 Gamer is also a handy driver in the wet conditions as well. So that's that's a good lap time. Where's Total Peace? On pole with a 42.4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Valter's on a decent lap here. I think he's about a 10th away from pole lap time.
Ferg's next across the line. Where's Ferg? In P3.
Decent result for Aston Martin right now. Valter next across the line. I think Valter might. Oh! I think Valter got some setup problems, or just not in the right tyre window. But this won't be pole.
Yeah, I think he's too far away from pole.
Yeah, it's P3 though. Not bad. Very close to Ferg's time.
Is this Nathan JB next across the line? 6/10 up. This could be pole. Oh no!
Decent lap time again. He can go again. Does he have enough fuel though?
All the tyres over here because he's done like 3 consecutive lap times. Mark's improving, keep it out, Mark.
He's got a lot of fuel in.
Yeah, Mark's crossed the line now. It's a 42.6 up into P3. Is that Jeroen next?
He's unbeatable right now. If anyone else can find any more time,
I think Jeroen will. Jeroen will. Yeah, it's pole.
Jeroen's on pole. Bearing in mind he does have a 5-place grid penalty, but it's a decent lap time again.
These lap times keep falling down, don't they, Harvey?
Yeah.
Oh, see.
Purple sector for Total Peace in the second sector there.
Yeah, Total Peace is next to cross the line because C4 Gamer did invalidate his lap time, so sadly that'll be the end of qualifying for him. He'll start P3 or lower.
Even though his rival's got a 5-place grid penalty, he wants to beat him on track no matter what penalties anyone has. Looks like it's going to be a great lap time here. Back on pole, another 3/10 in it.
Milan P3. I want to keep it out of Ferg.
Right now.
Ferg's half a second up. Is this lap time going to be enough to get himself? Oh, it's P2. It's provisional. No, it's not, because that's Jeroen Visser got a penalty.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got overexcited there. But where's Nathan? 2/10 up as well in the middle sector. Where's Walter? Walter coming towards now the penultimate corner. Get there in a few seconds' time. This lap time, what can he set? Can he get anywhere near the front row? Will it be pole position? Or will it be pole position? He's so close. Yeah, it is.
Oh! What a lap! Out of nowhere, Walter just came out and smashed everyone's time. There's nowhere Valter into that last lap.
And Nathan spun across the line but got up into P7 anyway, so he did find time in that last sector. But Walter, the champion,
out of nowhere,
new champion, has got up into pole position.
Yeah, I mean, I would not have expected him to be on pole based on his pace in the other sessions, but that just shows what champions can do, isn't it? And quite unlucky for Nathan. I think the problem was that he was on 3 or 4 lap old tyres on his last lap, so even though he had that warm up, maybe a little bit of overheating, everyone else just had fresher tyres and probably a little less fuel, because I think Nathan started up with quite a bit of fuel just to keep on constantly in laps. But what a session.
Exactly. Well done to Ferg on the second row on his return to racing in P3. Total P's crucially ahead of his main rival, who will drop down to 9th place due to that 5-place grid penalty. If you're wondering why he got a 5-place grid penalty, people who's just joining, he made contact with Rudy, or Rudy made contact with him, not quite sure. But anyways, he's picked up a 5-place grid penalty for that. The game thinks, and we'll move on to the race. Be right back.
So formation lap underway then, and it is a wet race. I've just got to get a lot of temperature into tyres. I'm sure they'll be freezing at the moment. It's Valtteri to lead the way. Drone down in P9 with his rival in P2, so he's got a little bit of ground to make up. Everyone looks like they're on the inters yet. So it's very likely just to be a one-stop. I assume. Unless it dries out. I'm not too sure if it will or not yet.
Everybody at the inters.
Yeah.
When I came back, I thought it started raining, but it was actually the camera angle I was at, so it's still raining on the track. It's always nice to see a mixture of whether go for dry to wet or wet to dry, but will it stay wet throughout the whole race?
Nice.
Good evening, Passe. I'm good, thank you. Yeah, that was a fantastic qualifying session. I agree with that one.
Always interesting to see what Duo can do from back of the grid. Two-time CRL champion.
Last time out, Rudy went from P20 to P4 in Bahrain, but actually it's a much difficult track in Russia, so it's more difficult to overtake, especially in the wet conditions as well. I think we see a lot of people fighting over track position in the first lap where we can gain the most, but after that it will settle in and there could be a big train going on, because it's very hard to overtake in the wet. Unless you make a mistake, of course.
You've just got to find the rhythm. Try and get in the groove, try and get the tyres in the right temperature window. Make sure you get strategy right. Don't take too many risks. Obviously risk can be a good thing sometimes, but don't be stupid with strategy. Yeah, just make sure you get in that rhythm. Keep the laps coming. Try and find your improvements, and that's what the great drivers do. Just try and improve in every single lap they can, but not taking too many risks and just reacting to everything in the right way.
Fiore, the last man to line up on the grid by himself. He hasn't got no one next to him. P20, 19 drivers on the grid then. So in the dry conditions, Ferg will be in a prime position because obviously he's got the slipstream on Walter, but it still could pay dividends if he gets it right. 4 lights, 5 lights then, and we're going to be away for the 27-lap race, penultimate race of the season, and off we go. Then a tentative start for some people. Total P slots in behind Walter. Obviously Total P's got slipstream, has Ferg as well, and Seymour Gamer is right behind Milan as they make their way. Ferg goes down the inside into turn 2. They're going to go side by side as well, but Total P's keeps his position as we've got a Haas off the track in the background there, as Ferg is in P3 under pressure now for Milan. Milan has to back out. Jive and Seymour Gamer are going side by side. Seymour Gamer has the inside line, but Mark comes shooting through, outbreaks himself, and all two of them go off the track there.
Ferg. He's going to dive down the inside. No, he thinks better of it.
Look at that.
For Total P to stay in P2. He just bullied Ferg off the track, but I think it was necessary. It's crucial for him. So Jerome into P5, crucial for him as well.
They're jostling for position down at turn 5. They're all over the place. It's the Williams and P5 and P6. C4 Gamer dropped down into P8. He's losing positions left, right and centre as well from start to P5. He's got Jime right behind him. Jime also loses positions, but a good start there as Milan goes off the track. We've got Duval up into P11 from P16 there, and Hebompi and Arthur swapping positions. There they are. Look at that. They're 3 abreast on the straight. Arthur and Hebompi are fighting. Duval and Nathan are fighting for P11. I've got Mercedes of AJ right behind Jime, but can't make his way through. There's not enough space there as they all sort themselves out. And to Griff, Hebompi.
Nathan dropping 6 positions. I'm not too sure what happened, but look at the top 2. He's going to go for it on this next straight. He's got the grip. He's absolutely on the back of Valter. Last few corners there. What can you do? I think he might go for it if he gets a good exit. Valter looks like he's struggling. Here we go then.
That's twice I've seen Milan off the track, so be careful not to do that, otherwise they'll register himself as a penalty. But Total Peas is right behind Walter.
I don't think this slipstream looks too powerful. I think Valter will just stay ahead. But yeah, Peas is looking in his prime position. He's in that zone of optimal function. He's going for it. Valter, a lot on the curb. He's got a great exit, Total Peas. Is he going to go for it? He's brave. He'll do it. just backs out a little bit there because just sort of understeer and the track kind of falls away from you in that corner if you don't have the grip. But those two are right together. Be interesting to see, and Pease is just burning his ERS.
Being right behind Walter down that turn through that long left-hander, like you said, Harvey. Carry too much speed through there. You end up understeering off the track. Remember, Roman Grosjean had a big crash there back in 2015, and Het Bobpierre has got past Rudy for P13, and Rudy's going to come back at him down the inside. We know Rudy doesn't give way to anybody as he squeezes him off the track. Rudy gets a bad exit, but still he's ahead of Het Bobpierre. Goes off the track again. Gotta be careful not to lose the rear of the car. And up into P13 he goes then. I think he might have a bit of a wind damage. He's just gone off the track yet again. He's hit the wall. Please be careful, Rudy. But Jeroen Visser is right behind Milan for P4. Obviously his main rival's in second place, so he needs to get past these cars in order to get himself up there. But Rudy has dropped to P17, and yeah, he's gonna have to come back, come in a bit late.
Okay, so 5-second penalty for Rudy for corner cutting. Nathan and DC pitted. I'm guessing they had damage, or maybe they're just going long. You never know if the conditions stay like this. But decent start for Ages, made a position. Decent start for Duwheel. About to set the fast lap of the race. That's good for him to make sure he stays ahead of Total Pease. Ferg is still in there. He's only 1.6 seconds behind the leader, and Milan is also still in there. The top 8 are all quite close together.
Obviously, no deal.
Keeping that slipstream as Rudy has retired
in the pit lane, so no safety car will be brought out. Rudy's had enough already on lap 2. Sadly, from starting P15 down there, but Jeroen Visser right at the back, he's got more confidence than Milan. They're both sliding through the corner there. Like you said, Ferg, 9/10s, just 9/10s behind Total Pease. He could be there as well because he likes the wet conditions. He scored a podium in Imola when Jeroen Visser made a mistake on the final lap, but he's currently sat in the podium paid positions. He's got Milan right at the back of him, and Jeroen following him too, with J Law in P6 doing a good job defending from Mark. Mark on the first lap just sent it down the inside, almost outbroke himself because that was a massive lunge, especially on 2 cars already in front of him. All 3 of them went off the track there, and thankfully he came back on. Then it got a bit messy down at turn 6 when all 4 of them were fighting, and it ended up C4 Gamer dropping down to P8, so we lost a lot of positions from starting P5. Jeroen Visser just made his way through, but Mark is right at the back of
Jay Lawler. He's right behind Jay Lawler. Is he going to send it? I think he can go for it if he wants to. He just backs out. Smart thing to do. I don't think the gap was there, but looking good. Mark in P7 right now. Jeroen's still right behind Milan, and Milan's actually closing up to Ferg quite a bit, so I think Ferg might just be struggling. Total Pease is still right on the back of Valter, so there's nothing to separate these two. Will he go for it again? But in the wet, you can save so much ERS. Even if you burn a lot of it down the straight, you'll gain it back quickly. And Valter's got a full tank. Because Total Pease is fastest man on track, and Valter's trying to break the slipstream. Sorry, Pease is burning all of it. So is Valter. He wants to stay ahead. He wants track position. But as you can see, I think Valter's got a little bit more straight line speed. So I think his setup's a bit more dry, so he's got, yeah,
bit more straight line speed.
Yeah, it looks like Valter's got a little bit more straight line speed because they're both burning the RS, and he's still sort of staying ahead with even with Pisa having a slipstream. So, but all really good exit from Pisa. Just so there's no overtaking opportunities in this part of the track. You just have to sort of keep him under pressure. That's what Pease's got to do. He's got to keep out under pressure. Don't give him a chance to breathe. Hopefully he makes a mistake. That's what Pease needs. And Valter just needs to keep a cool head, stay ahead, and just keep that track position. That's the most important thing for him right now.
Yeah, Total Pease is going to try and force Valter into an error. Obviously, what I've seen so far from Total Pease, that he's got more cornering speed than Valter, so that could be crucial for him. But like you said, Valter could potentially have more straight line speed going on to a drier setup.
Inside knowledge from Rotation in the comments says both Pease and Valter report an understeer. So that's quite interesting, actually.
Reported understeer.
Yeah. So I mean, to be fair, they aren't lasting away as I would expect them to.
Is Rotation reported with both of them?
I guess he is. I don't think he's not racing, is he? So.
Hello.
Let me just have a look on board.
Hello, Rotation. How you doing, mate? Yeah, I've noticed that Total Pease is more confident going into turn 4 and 5. That long left-hander, he just could stay there. But look at him; he's all over the back of Valter as they make their way onto lap 5 on the straight. Yeah, again.
Sure. But he gets great exits.
If you get really good exits, that could make it up just for the straight if you get a really good exit. Never mind the understeer.
He won't need to be fast in the corner because he keeps nailing these exits.
I think. You continue. Sorry.
Sorry, I think Pease just needs to wait for that mistake that Valtter's a champion already, so he doesn't make mistakes often, but you never know what can happen if he just keeps him under pressure. Hopefully, track changes a bit, weather changes, or strategy comes into his play. That's what he needs to hope for at the moment.
If the weather stays like this, I think the intermediates could go all the way to the end. I don't think they're going to do a one-stop. But obviously that rule of going on a different tyre compound does not oblige to this race because it's a wet starter race. Walter may have exceeded track limits coming towards turn 6.
He looks very understeer. I think rotation's right, I have to say. Just looking on board of Pease, Valtter's front end doesn't want to move. But he still manages to just get the exit and get the power down very nicely.
Meanwhile, Ferg in P3...
I think Pease needs to dry, doesn't he? He wants it to dry.
Ferg in P3 is looking very good. He's just up the gap towards Milan by 1.2 seconds. Giroud is all over the back of him as well. So Ferg has got himself into a bit of breathing space, but obviously he's going to be in the dirty air of Total Pease and Walter as well. Giroud and Vizsla just closing in on Milan, but it's very difficult to overtake around here. Never mind the dry, but it's also difficult to overtake in the wet. Seavor Gamer is close behind Mark, who's putting pressure on J-Law. J-Law is about 2 seconds away from his own teammate in P5 there. And Arthur's about a few tenths away from Head Bompy as we come on to the final lap, final corner shall I say, lap 6. Total Pease within 4 tenths, but those 4 tenths are not enough to just close in on the straight.
Yeah, he's not gaining enough. You just look at the gap between both of us, not going down enough. He's going to have to get within 3 tenths on the last corner to probably try and make a move, or maybe hope for another place to track. He looks decent here, this part of the track, around this long corner that burns the right hand of the car and the tyres. Valtteri just manages to just watch it. He gets the power down nicely and steams away from Pease. He can't do anything about it at the moment.
He's still confident to use those curbs as well on the exit, just not lighting the rear tyres up, just managing the tyres well, getting on the curb, leaning on the exit as well, so he's also confident to do that. Look at that, he's right on the edge of track limits as well. No, I don't expect so in this early part of the race. We might see some towards the end. Could the weather change later on in this race?
Jerome is doing everything he can. Swapping lines. Oh, and he just taps the wall there.
Who did?
Jerome just taps the wall. I don't think he got damaged. He's still on the back of Milan, so he just got away with it. And he's gaining a lot. Milan is trying to break the slipstream. Really close between these two drivers. Absolutely going for it. Will Jerome send it? He's close enough, but no, he doesn't go for it. He backs out. He's going to wait for another day.
Purple bit of sector there from Giroud, as you can see, he's absolutely pushing. He wants to get past Milan because Milan's about 1.3 seconds away as Ferg starts closing on Total Pease as well. So Giroud, Vizsla just tried absolutely everything he can to try and get past the Alpine. He almost lost it at the exit there at turn 16. Going towards the final 2 corners. Look at that, Total Pease closer this time as he sets the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah,
and he's in 3 tenths.
Yeah, Valtteri has just got that speed, hasn't he?
Yep. Nothing they can do, really.
They're going the same speed, even with the slipstream of Pease. Valtteri still manages to stay at the same speed as Pease, so he needs that DRS. Pease, and he won't get it until this track dries up, which the rain is still constantly falling down. I don't think it will dry. But at least Pease is fastest man on track for his sake.
If there is a pit stop, will Total Pease consider the undercut? I'm not quite sure because the grid is so tight at the moment. But what can he do from P2? All he's going to do is try and put Walter under much pressure. I think these intermediates could go a long way. We saw in Imola that nobody did a pit stop because the tyre wear was just so good that they didn't need to pit. Even on the last lap, it was like 20% or 15% going all the way to the end on those intermediates. So I think that's the case around here. Unless it's a safety car, they want to go on a brand new set of the intermediates. Obviously they got like 3 intermediate tyres or 4, and they didn't really use many of them. Probably about 1 or 2 sets in Q3, but that was about it because obviously Q2 it was still dry. They set their best lap on the dry and they didn't go out again because they couldn't do any more than that.
So just to confirm from our inside knowledge man, Mr. Rotation has confirmed Pease is running higher wings than Valtteri. So obviously you can see Pease is, especially in this third sector, he gets really close, but Valtteri absolutely blitzes it down the straight. Gets a very nice exit. Can he just get within that gap and tuck into a nice slipstream? It's looking really difficult for him at the moment.
Jeroen Visser coming towards turn 14. He just tapped the rear end
right on the back of Milan.
Yeah, but he is.
Now fastest man on track. Jeroen could go for it here. Milan's going to try and belate his slipstream, but Jeroen sort of pre-guessed him there and went with him. Milan is also pretty nippy down the straights. Going to come in. Is he going to send it? No. Waits for another day again. Milan just sliding. His rears are locking. He gets a decent exit. He won't be under any pressure into the next corner.
Yeah, it's quite evident that Total Peace is running higher downforce compared to Walter, because he just carries more speed in the corners compared to Walter. Obviously, Walter, despite being the slipstream provider for Total Peace, is not gaining on the straight, only a little bit, but that little bit is not enough to get right next to him. He was 3/10 on the final corner, but still could close upon it. That's how good Walter's straight line speed is.
Yeah, pad traction OP indeed. Rotation.
Yeah, pad traction, always love it, especially in the wet conditions.
I mean, Total Peace may have to do an encore if he stays in this dirty air. If it's a one stop.
If it's a non-stop.
Yeah, sorry. If it's
that's fine, mate. I was just saying, if it's a non-stop, then obviously he can't pit because he's got to make his way throughout the whole field again.
That will hurt him. Yeah, that will hurt him because I reckon Walter will just start steam away if these tires gets too hot.
Or Total Peace
keeping a cool head, isn't he? He knows what to do. He's been in this position enough to know what to do.
All Total Peace could do is just wait for Walter to make a mistake. But obviously, with how strong of a driver Walter is, his caliber in racing is just fantastic. Because Total Peace sets the fastest lap of the race. He's 3/10 within Walter, but obviously those 3/10 are not enough to just close in and try and overtake him. As you can see, Walter's actually pulling away slightly from Total Peace, despite being in the slipstream.
Arthur right on the back of Pep Bunker. He might go for a mood on here. Depends on how fast Bunker's down the straight. He's only 4/10 within him. He's gaining pretty nicely, Arthur, but just not enough. None of the drivers can seem to sort of use the slipstream to their advantage.
DRS wasn't able.
The overtakes.
DRS wasn't able to change a lot because Total Peace would be able to just try and get past him, more of a chance to try and get past him. But obviously, in these wet conditions, DRS is disabled. We have seen in the past, in the real life races, that DRS has been enabled despite the wet conditions. But obviously, that's when it's safe enough.
D-Griff, 7 cents of dual wheel for the Red Bull boys.
Nathan, JB and DC wishing for a safety car because they're so far behind. Nathan is pulling away from DC. They're just running his own race. Both Hassers having a bad race yet again. I say yet again, they had a good result last time out, but obviously not. I don't know what happened to Nathan, but back in Bahrain, it was Danny Boy who cost him a potential podium. Nathan down there in P17, just hoping for a safety car. Same with DC. DC finished in P6 at Bahrain last time out, so a good result for him. As Total Peace evidently, you can see the higher downforce setup is working well for him, but obviously when he gets on the straight, that's Walter's territory and Total Peace's kryptonite.
Nathan's got decent pace, not as quick as the front three, but he is gaining a little bit on those. But I think maybe just not having the slipstream from under ahead is sort of affecting a bit and stunting his gain on all the other drivers. But yeah, as you said, he does need a safety car. Will play quite nicely into his hands.
I want to talk about Ferg's performance because obviously he was under pressure from Milan a few laps ago, but he's actually pulled almost a 3-second gap on Milan. He's left him in the clutches of Giroud, so Walter sliding through the corner there, as you can see. But Giroud still can't get past him, as J-Law's actually closed in. He was quite far behind, like 3 seconds behind Giroud. He's actually closed in, so I wonder if these two fights have cost him because it's allowed Ferg to pull away. Oh, Ferg, be careful there, mate, because he's just run out wide coming out of turn 7. He might have picked himself up a warning, so he's got 2 more warnings left until he picks up a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, and you can see all 18 drivers, tier 1, hardly any mistakes at all. Really focused and try not to make any mistakes. Just shows the quality of all of them, really. How they're able to just, in high pressure situations, just keep it on track and stay within 2.5 tenths to the car ahead of you. It's great to see.
Giroud is close on this time, but just that straight, it's just run out. He still can't get past Milan on this occasion. Milan's doing a very good job in P4, just keeping his cool, keeping his head, not making any mistakes with what I've seen so far, just keeping Giroud, J-Law and Mark down there. As Giroud makes a little mistake coming towards turn 16 there, just losing the back end, so that compromises his entry and exit towards turn 16, allowing Milan a bit more breathing space. But look at Total Peace, 2/10 behind, but Walter got a little bit of a better exit than Walter. I think maybe Walter's tyres could fade away towards near the end of the race, could come into Total Peace's play.
Yeah, if
do you
he's
reckon?
pushing too hard, then yeah, but I'm just worried about Pease in the dirty air. But I was just looking at the miles per hour there. Walter and Pease on the exact same miles an hour, and they were both burning their ERS. And Pease had the slipstream, so we can just see the effects of higher wings.
Mark was looking to make an overtake on J-Law into turn 2, but on the same with Giroud and Total Peace, just a bit too far back to make any move whatsoever.
What's the if you have a pit stop, how much time do you lose?
24 seconds, mate.
24?
Yeah.
Okay. So if there is somewhere to pit...
He rejoined out of P16.
Yeah, there is a gap. There is a gap. But is it worth it? I don't think so at the moment. So I don't think any of the drivers... All the tyres look fine. I've just been looking on board other drivers, but all the tyres look completely fine. But if things do change, and Valter's won the championship, he can go for a fun strategy if he likes. He's got a decent gap to do it if he wants to, but I'm sure he still wants to go for the win. Here comes Jerome. Oh, Jerome really could have gone for it there. Just backed out because I think Milan very cheaply just dived to the right a bit. I don't think Jerome will be happy with that, but it wasn't too bad. Jerome was very close then, and that will frustrate Jerome a bit. He'll really get fed up of seeing the Alpine in front of him. He wants to get rid of him as soon as possible and start getting at Ferg, because Jerome has pace.
Total Peace, he just gets closer and closer in the final corner, but obviously that launch from Walter, look at that, he's just already pulling away on the straight. Total Peace can't do anything about it, of course, but here we go again on lap 12. Still too far behind to make any sort of move into turn 2. Gotta wait for another 15 laps to try and do something. But Giroud, yeah, I saw that from Walter.
About it there, yeah. He's just dancing with the car of all the drivers on the limit.
Is Arthur close enough to make a move down to P14? Look, he's close enough behind Hebonpia. Oh, I thought Arthur was going to go drive off the track there, but is he close enough to make a move on Hebonpia? No, he's too far back. Probably the same issue what Total Peace, Giroud and everybody else has been the attacker. The defenders are doing a very good job because I haven't seen anybody suffering from under pressure.
That looks a little bit drier.
It does, doesn't it?
But, still raining, of course, but a little bit improved the conditions. Nathan's making up decent ground now. He's gained a second in the last couple of laps, but just not enough. I don't think the track's really right to gain a lot of time on the drivers ahead. He's still within that 20-second gap, but he also was a little bit nervy on fuel. A few of the drivers are a bit nervy on fuel, just checking the fuel bar.
Some people
underfueled, yeah.
Some people in the wet weather conditions like to underfuel the car because it's quite easy to save it back as well. And the ERS, like you said, because the ERS is so easy, you can just drain all of it in 2 laps and just come back to you in another 2 laps as well. So ERS should not be a problem around here, but obviously overtaking is a big problem around here.
So Mr. AJ,
Jerome Visser. Oh, someone's in the pits. Milan's in the pit space. Missed the pit lane. No, he hasn't.
Oh wow, he's just made it. He's just made it.
Now
Milan goes for the bold move. Were his tyres looking dodgy, or does he want to go for the bold strategy?
We'll find out. Is it a good move? Oh, Walter's gone wide off the track in turn 3. So that's definitely a warning for Walter. He might be on his second warning as he went off the track in the first. Yeah, Total Peace can already see that. One more warning for Walter. I dare say he'll pick up a penalty. He's already exceeded track limits coming towards turn 7, and now he's done it at turn 3. So one more warning for Walter. Total Peace just needs to keep the pressure on to force Walter into a mistake. It's working well for Total Peace, but obviously in terms of overtaking, it's not. He'd rather win this on track rather than penalties. But every single driver would love to win it on track because of pride, obviously. They'd feel like they deserve it more winning it on track, if that makes sense.
Yeah. AJ's got decent pace at the moment, just looking at his lap times. he is closing up to Jimmy. It's quite frustrating for all the drivers. Some of them are quite quicker than the cars ahead. It's just the tanks up there. They just can't do it on the straight. This slipstream has no effect. They obviously don't have DRS, so will not be enabled.
So where's Milan rejoined? He's rejoined down in P16, 5 seconds behind Alex. So if he's going to do the undercut, he's got a bit of fresh air in front of him.
Almost both there.
Yeah, if he's got the undercut, if he's doing the undercut and Giroud pits this lap, then it's worse for him. But if everybody's going to the end on these inters, because I presume those guys would have pitted by now, with Milan down in P16, but if everybody goes to the end, and J-Law has pitted too, so he's responded, as Giroud Visser has set the fastest lap. Is it a one-stop race, I wonder? Because sometimes you can take the intermediates towards the end.
I think some of the drivers want to stay out to see if it gets dry or not, because it still looks like it's drying. But I'll keep an eye on J-Law's and Milan's pace to see if they are looking good for an undercut on the driver.
Arthur's pitted too. He's had enough of head Bompiers with rear wing. I just want to see where Milan and J-Law rejoin. I think Milan will get past J-Law, considering he was ahead of him on track. He's just coming out of the pit lane now. Yeah, he's way ahead of him. So J-Law rejoins down to P15. Arthur rejoins at P16. No, I think that will go to Nathan. We're very close to the pit lane. Oh, Nathan's almost lost it. Coming out the final corner there. And Nathan has rejoined ahead of Arthur. Well, the Real DC is too far back, but Real DC has just set his best lap time so far in P18, so he's just still learning the track. But yeah, interesting then, the pit lane is getting a bit of action.
Yeah, it's interesting to see not everyone going for it, but a few of them are just trying to test it. There's 2 races left of the season, you might as well go for it.
Never thought I'd say this, but is the non-stop or one-stop better?
Yeah, that's what we like to see. That's the exciting thing about F1, you just don't know, do you? Just have a look at everyone's lap times at the moment. Milan does look pretty pacey.
I think the top 2 will follow each other, because if one of them pits, it could cost them hugely, depending how good the tyre wear as well is as well. Obviously, you have a pace advantage, but that pace advantage won't be enough.
Milan is flying at the moment.
Let's see how easy it is for him to get past Alex when he catches up to him. Alex is on the back of Foul Fury, so Alex will have slipstream behind Foul Fury. That'll be a bit harder for Milan to overtake, whereas if he was just by himself it could have been a bit easier. But with the tyre difference, let's see how much of a difference it will make, as he's obviously flying along, closing in on Alex, as Alex is trying to make a move on Foul Fury. Jive is right behind C4 Gamer. They're side by side. This could be our first overtake. Jive getting a squirrely exit. They go side by side. Yep, it did. Oh, Jive picks up a 3-second time penalty.
We nearly got it, lads. We nearly got our first on-track overtake.
But the first penalty award goes to Jime. Sadly for him. He just hugged that inside line way too much that he would have wanted to.
Milan is gaining. Rates.
But now Milan has pitted. That's helped Giroud Visser, because now he's at his way. He's started to close it on Ferg. He's gained all that time back that he lost previously. He's been stuck behind Milan on Ferg. So that's actually helped Giroud Visser if he goes to the end. If he's not, being stuck behind Ferg, wasted time, and if he does pit, he'll end up behind Milan. But Milan is closing and closing and closing on Alex.
Look at the battle for P6. From P6 to P10 it is. So you got, Seabull again, we're getting overtaken by Jimmy. Jimmy spun! I think Jimmy didn't leave as much room. He had a lot of space and he spun again. Really unfortunate for him. I think he might have a bit of... I know his wing's fine, but C was quite wide on the track. I don't think he did too much wrong. I think Jimmy just sort of understeered into him. But
I think, yeah, I agree with you there.
As the battle for P6 was going on, all these drivers in this wet condition, they want to keep track position. They don't want to lose it, because they know if they do lose it, it'll be very hard to gain it back again. Now it's AJ's turn to have a go and see.
Walter has made a little bit of a mistake, as Jive is in the pit lane to change onto a brand new set of inters, but Milan is right behind Alex now, and obviously Alex is right behind Foul Furies. Milan has just set the fastest lap
on track,
of the race
as well.
I want to go on board with him. Then how easy will it if he's too far back on this occasion? But somebody has made a mistake, and that is Giroud. Giroud has spun coming out of turn 5. He was on the back of Ferg, and that releases a lot of pressure off Ferg, doesn't it?
Here comes AJ, Nice move, well done AJ. Jerome trying to keep it around the outside, banging wheels there, but AJ's got it done. That's really unlucky for Jerome. I mean, it's Pease will be happy with that again. Just really unfortunate. It's not what Jerome needs. As J Lola gets a 3-second time penalty.
That's his second penalty as well. No, it's his first penalty. Sorry. Or is it his second?
Jerome. Come on, man.
Look at that. Milan is being held up by Foul Fury and Alex. He needs to get past him as quickly as he can using the pace of tyre advantage he has.
There comes Jerome on AJ. AJ will just stay ahead. Very close though still. I think Jerome may have kept his tyres in good condition. He won't have flat, but I don't see much or anything like that, so we should.
Oh, here comes another one. Alex is going to go around the outside of Foul Fury. On board with Milan's perspective, Alex has the outside line, has the inside line for the next one.
Ooh, very close.
Foul Fury.
Now here comes Milan. Milan overtakes. But they're still going side by side in this final sector, and it's good racing from both of them. Milan now gets released on those fresher compound tyres.
There goes Giroud on AJ. Using all of the ERS. Will he outbrake him into turn 2? Yes, he does. Can he make the corner? He goes a bit deep. AJ's off the track as well.
AJ wide. AJ will have to give that back. He can't overtake off track. A little bit naughty there from Jerome. I'd say maybe just not giving AJ the space, but that is racing after all. Jerome's still got the pace, which is good to see. He's still got a chance to keep somewhat decent points on total Ps, because that is what he really needs for the battle for P2. Just minimise damage limitation at this point, because what is he now? Quite a way off total Ps at the moment.
Yeah, total Ps. Ever since he's managed to get his internet connection sorted, and ever since that first race in Silverstone, he picked up so many penalties. He's just been on form.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Welsh Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Aye.
Milan's at the back of Foul Fury there for P11. He's 3.9 seconds behind Head Bompia, so he needs to try and get past Foul Fury to get himself in clean air. Will that one stop work as well? J Law is in P16 behind Alex. He's also doing a one stop along with Arthur and Jime down in P16 to P17 there. And Milan is not close on this occasion unless he'll send it down the inside, which I don't think he'll do. He's too far back.
Just needs to do it under traction, I think.
Yeah.
Some switchback moves. Whip out his skills. What's he got in his trade?
Oh, Foul Fury.
Foul Fury just off the track, and that's going to
leave
the door open. Oh, and he's been pushed a bit wide there, and they're still banging wheels. Will he give each other space? Side by side once again. And Milan has little ERS compared to Foul Fury. They're still going side by side, and Foul Fury's giving very enough space. They're still going side by side, and Milan repays a favour and knocks Foul Fury wide.
Alex.
Unfortunately, Milan gets that 3-second penalty.
Alex could continue his battle with Foul Fury there because he's right behind him, and obviously Foul Fury trading the ERS. Will he get past him into turn 2? Is his second attempt? It goes down. No, he doesn't. Foul Fury outbreaks himself. Does he make the corner? He spins. He outbroke himself.
Always going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think Milan
was have any damage from that.
Side pod, possibly. I'm not quite sure, depending on how hard the impact was, but hopefully not hard enough.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully not hard enough for him to lose performance, but Foul Fury outbreaking himself has cost him dearly, and he's rejoined out of P14.
Good race from Do Will at the moment. He's made about 8 positions.
Indeed.
Results so far, if we can keep this going.
Total Ps has had enough. 18 laps right behind Wild to see his rear wing, but obviously I think Wild has got one more warning left, so he's going to keep it on the track for these next 9 laps. Total Ps has done a fantastic job, just trying to put the pressure on him, not losing his car as well in frustration. He probably, the one stop's out of the question now. It's definitely a non-stop. But J Law is right behind Alex for P12 and could continue this battle if he's close enough on this occasion. No, Wild has just got the launch and therefore has the straight line speed advantage, just like Monza 2019 where the Ferrari just released itself off Parabolica and the Mercedes couldn't overtake it. Yeah, J Law in these slow corners right behind Alex. Can he get better traction coming out of these corners with a tyre advantage? Nope, he can't. He actually gets a worse exit compared to Alex. 2 more corners now until we go on the straight. Has he got the straight line speed advantage to try and overtake Alex? Alex and Milan picking up 3-second time penalties. And there we go then. On the straight, He's 2 tenths behind, but will this be enough as Alex is also using his EOS advantage? And no, unless he doesn't outbreak him into turn 2.
Jerome! Oh, what a save! He's lost quite a lot of time, but what a save from Jerome. He had a massive tank slapper. You'll want to watch that back again.
I wish I caught
it. And
it.
he'll have to change his underpants because that was an absolute scary moment. What a save.
J-Law's got off the track though. No, mate, I thought J-Law was going to make an overtake, but I want to see that if he did. As Total P's right at the back.
But yeah, J-Law is still on no seat. Very close behind him. Sends it. Ooh.
He's a corner you can't overtake, but also these are corners we can get better traction, and also you don't want to invalidate there because he's just exceeded track limit. Same with Alex as well, all 4 wheels off the track. He's yet to get one.
For you?
Who?
Is Alex lagging?
Nah, he's fine for me, mate. But here comes J-Law. I think he's too far back again on this occasion. This is allowing Milan to pull away from J-Law. I don't think this one-stop strategy has worked for them. Unless tyres are going off, of course, that could be a factor to why they've done a one-stop. But keep an eye on Mark. He's right behind Ferg, but Total P's, he's still behind Walter. Can't get past him for the 20th time in this race.
So frustrating for P's.
Yeah, exactly. I know how it feels because I've been in this situation by myself, but he just can't overtake in the wet conditions. Maybe he has more pace, but he can't show it.
Yeah. Can't do it, yeah. But obviously, credits to Walter because it's still incredibly hard to stay in front, especially in front of a driver like Pease. You know he's extremely pacey. You just got to keep a composed head, and that's what Walter's doing. It's a really good race so far from the pair with them.
Despite being in front.
Dropped off Ferg.
Yep. Despite being in front though, you still got to make sure you don't pick for the penalties, don't lose it as well. Make sure you get the best
to go as well.
Best possible exits coming out of the corners as well. That's what you're going to keep an eye on. And Griff is closing down Dual for P8, so we'll keep an eye on that battle as well. Multiple battles as J-Law goes off the track again. That could be his second warning. He did it on the previous lap, but he's done it again, so he's going to be very careful. It's going to be frustrating for him because he knows Alex is doing a non-stop, and J-Law on the fresher tyres, he knows he can get past him, but Total P's. Oh, they're actually fighting. I think Walter's got wide in the braking zone, and here comes Total P's. Is this the move?
Oh,
yes, it is. It's going down the inside into turn 16, and he's done it for the 20th attempt. He's finally got past his man and goes up into P1. But the problem is, if Walter sticks to the back of him, he has the straight line speed advantage to get him back into turn 2.
Walter's got that speed. Pease will have to get an amazing exit. We could see another battle going down here out of the final corner. Will Walter go for it? He's got a lot of ERS compared to Pease, but Pease is going to absolutely burn it now. Both of them absolutely burning their ERS. Walter is gaining. He's gaining quite a bit actually, but I don't think he's gaining enough.
Yeah.
Even with the advantage of his straight line speed, if you're ahead, you can still manage to get that power down. Dirty air must be playing some sort of factor then.
Well, I just want to say, fantastic performance from Total P's there because he's been stuck behind Walter for 20 laps, not getting frustrated. He's keeping his cool. That's how much Total P's has developed as a driver. You can see how much he's gone quicker, more consistent as well. Can plan his own.
Walter's still there.
Yeah, he is still there.
But yeah, I agree with you on that because at this point, P's could have just lacked a bit of motivation, realised he's never going to get past.
I just saw Total P's exceed track limits.
The penalties still could have a play in this, but yeah, both of them still on the limit and 5.5 seconds away from Ferg, who's down in third. Good race for him. Mark is still half a second behind, so there is a battle for P3 going on, as 7 seconds behind is Seagull Gamer, so quite far separated now. The gaps have opened up, and it's still neck and neck between Total P's and Walter going into the last 6 laps of this race.
Mark has gained 4 positions. Can he gain 5 on the podium? He's also doing a fantastic job as well. Down in P4, he's behind Ferg. Can Ferg keep the pressure on and stay ahead of Mark for the podium pay positions for his second podium this season on his return back to racing? He did it in Imola. Can he do it again here in the wet conditions like it was in Imola? And Walter, he's right behind Total P's. And Total P's gets a good launch, but how good is Walter's straight line speed to try and get him back into turn 2? He's closing down, closing. Both using that EOS down the straight, and I don't think he's close enough to make him move into turn 2. No, he stays behind.
They go for here, try and get a better exit. This is where P's has the advantage of higher wings. He shoves, sticks to the ground a little bit better. Yeah, as we can see him pulling away. He's
But
gone a little bit wide, and Fowler's coming back at him, but yeah, he just stays ahead.
Oh,
and Nathan is gaining quite a bit on Farrell Fiore, just to keep an eye on there. Remember, Nathan is on a couple of laps. Well, none of them pitted up after this, so he's only on like 1 lap pressure tyres, but it's not that big of an advantage, but he's still got decent pace. And he's in the points, aren't they? Because Steve will do points up to P15, so he's got something to fight for, Nathan, and he is gaining.
Yeah. Safety cars hasn't came his way. You would have thought there would be a safety car, especially in this wet conditions. But previously we saw Jeroen Visser get past Seymour Gamer, went off the track a little bit, but managed to come back on. Seymour Gamer tried to overtake him back down the inside. Here comes Walter though. Will he overtake him to where he lost out? Ooh. And he will go down the inside. No, he doesn't. Total Peace outbreaks him, but he's going to make the corner.
You can hear the screams of Total Peace tyres. He locks up and dives down so deep into the corner, but he keeps the position.
I was above
screams of the tyres.
I was above Walter. Yeah, I was above Walter. I heard the screams off the tyres as well from Walter's front right. Sorry.
Yeah.
But Walter is so close behind Total Peace. Got to make these two
maybe starting to drop off a little bit for a lot of the drivers now, because none of them have pitted except for a few. Val will definitely go for it. He's got a decent exit and he's only within 0.4 of a second. And DC gets a 3-second time penalty. That's really unfortunate, but he is 16 seconds behind the rest of the pack, and I think DC will stay ahead here. Just to look at that as well. He's at 20% ERS. Val's on 77. But that's something to keep an eye on as well.
Notice that previously Total P's got a good launch coming out of the last corner, so that allowed him to gain a few more tenths of Walter. And obviously still stayed ahead on that occasion as well, so as long as you get a good exit coming out of the final corner. But also, like you said before when I said in qualifying, there's not really opportunities to overtake down there. We've seen it a few times now in that heavy braking zone after the DRS zone in second straight, so we've seen a lot of overtakes going on there so far, and it's been clean so far from Total P's and Walter. Jaime down there in P17 putting pressure on his teammate for P16, and also Nathan as well, so battle for P15, P16 and P17, but obviously Arthur and Jaime are on fresher tyres in comparison to Nathan.
As well now.
Remember, Tyson Fury spun, I think, coming into turn 2 behind Milan. Yeah, it was Milan. Because he was defending from... Oh, yellow flag. Is that Jaime?
Ferrari.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Jaime spun...
And this is very straightforward drivers. It's not a dried up, no opportunities to get that DRS on and make some overtakes, but oh well. Still been a very exciting race so far. P's just using every bit of track he can to gain on Valter, because you know that Valter's going to go for it again.
It's
still within that 4-10th gap.
The slipstream can keep you in contact with your teammates or your rivals, even if you're behind them, because it's funny enough 20 laps behind Walter. Now Walter's sticking towards Total P's as well, so a good launch coming out the final corner from Total P's, which is probably pivotal for his race. He's got 3 laps now. Can he try and defend for Walter, or can Walter reclaim the lead of this race, as Jeroen Visser has set the fastest lap of this race? Mark is right behind Ferg.
Not enough ERS to go for it.
Good positioning from Ferg.
Yeah, very smart. Put it in the middle of the track. Don't give any opportunities to the driver behind. The both of them have burnt down their ERS.
This is very good racing.
P3 here is, and P1 really is amazing. And Nathan should be able to get a move on Farrell Fiore anytime soon. He's only in within 5 seconds. Sorry, half a second should I say. And he will. It looks like we'll get it if you're going on board with Nathan here.
On board with Nathan now. Oh, Jaime's retired in the pit lane, so no safety car on that occasion, but Walter's so close, as here comes Nathan. Is he close enough? He's going to go around the outside.
Dives.
Can he make the corner? Yes, he will. Oh, he gets forced off the track by Farrell Fiore there, not giving him an inch, but Nathan will probably pick up a warning for that, as Farrell Fiore has the confidence. But here comes Arthur. Can he go around the outside? No, he can't. Farrell Fiore goes back down the inside.
What a move. Oh, look at this racing going on. Nathan switch
Arthur comes through. Arthur comes through on Farrell Fiore. Down the inside he goes.
Dive down the inside.
Oh, contact again. Farrell Fiore is not giving up, is he? The Fiore name.
I think Nathan saw it coming and just sort of dived out of the way and then went for the switch. That was really smart of him. But I also just before, I think Nathan
here comes Arthur. He's coming down the inside of the corner. You don't expect overtaking. Farrell Fiore's gone out around the outside, got off the track. and he's still ahead of Arthur. So I thought Arthur had to move done, but Foul Fury with the outside line had more momentum and more speed. But Foul Fury gets a bad exit coming out of that corner, and here comes Arthur now. You both traded their ERS to try and get past or stay ahead of each other. As Arthur goes down the inside, it's the next break-in zone. We go so close between the two.
Foul Fury's getting his elbows out.
While this battle's going on, I'm keeping an eye on the leaderboard between first and second because anything could happen as Arthur goes down the inside again in turn 16. No, turn 15, turn 16 now. And switch back from Arthur.
He's read my mind.
Down the inside, there you go. You can hear the difference in engines between the Honda and the Ferrari. Foul Fury's gone off the track again. Arthur goes down the inside. They've been bad throughout the whole lap. As Foul Fury.
Get the slipstream now.
Yep.
Equal on the RS. Should get the slipstream. Nathan is absolutely.
Wait, keep an eye on Milan. Milan is right behind Head Bonpier, trying to go for a move down the inside. He makes contact, and Head Bonpier stays ahead. Where is Foul Fury? There he is, still ahead of Arthur. There's so many battles going on. I don't know who to keep an eye on. I want to get everybody involved because obviously
it's
everybody
really opened up in these last laps of the race because everyone's tyres are sort of burning out.
The fuel's burned out as well. So the non-stop has worked out. It's cost Milan and J Law, unless they had tyre problems, of course, but we don't know about. As Walter, 2 laps to go. Can he win this race, or will Total P's?
Difference as well between the top two. I think Walter just has to commit to one section of the trap and absolutely go for it when he's least expecting it.
Interestingly, I was wrong the first 2 times. Walter does not have a warning, whereas Total P's does. So Total P's.
Look at Ferg. Ferg gained 2.5 seconds to top 2. Bringing it back, he's got some pace, and Mark is still right there.
Yeah, keep an eye on Mark as well. He'll be desperate to try and go down the inside into third. This has been a good race despite being the wet conditions as Walter stays behind. He's got 2 more laps to try and overtake Total P's. Where's Mark? He's not close enough on that occasion to make a move on Ferg, but he's also been putting the challenge on as Arthur still fighting with Fury. He's going down the inside. They're still fighting for P15. And it looks like Arthur has finally got ahead of Foul Fury, but good defence from Foul Fury. Not giving an inch. You don't care if the driver's ahead or on a brand new set of tyres. He just wants to fight with whoever's there. That's why I feared Fury in these races, as Milan is right behind Head Bonpier. Look at that. Can he send it down the inside like he did the last lap? No, he does not. They both made contact there, but thankfully none of them... Milan almost lost the car. And J Law has caught up to Milan as well because those two pitted.
Good exit. So does Pease. Got a lot more ERS though. Making a nice tight line, minimising the track distance. He's doing a great job just to stay ahead there. Now coming into the final sector. Just keep it on the track. Tyres are starting to fall away, but you just got to nurse them to the end of the race.
You can see he's on the edge with track limits there is Total P's. One more warning, Total P's will pick up a 3-second time penalty. It's the last lap. Who will win this? Well, not the last lap, shall I say. It's coming towards the last lap. But Total P's around the penultimate corner now. He needs a good exit to make sure he's keeping in P1 there. Last lap now. Total P's gets a beautiful launch, and that could be it for Walter.
Hit the curb a little bit too much, and Drone is still fastest man on track as he's in the hunt for Mark and Ferg. Here comes Mark again. I think he's going to go for it down the outside, you know. Ferg, again, great position of his car. Shuts the door nicely. Mark is still going to go for it on the inside of a very tricky corner here. He's going to put it all over the curb. They're going side by side. Nearly touched there. Ferg stays ahead. Great racing for the pair of them.
This is great positioning from Ferg because... he hits the back of him. He hit the back of him. Will that be a fair move for Mark if he does make the move? Because he did hit the back of him. As we make our way down the inside, this could be a controversial move for Mark if he does make it. Yes, he gets ahead of him, but will Ferg be complaining because he did hit the back of him. He puts him off.
That could be investigated.
He puts him offline.
It lost Ferg a bit of time there. It just sort of put him off his rhythm there.
He put him offline, and therefore Mark was able to go through.
Mark gets the position. He's got the podium. Ferg! And he's lost position to Jerome now. He just skidded and went onto the curb, and Jerome damage limitation for his P2 battle with Jerome. P's in the championship. Jerome just managed to
Walter,
get past Berg.
Walter's potential last chance to try and overtake Total P's, which he doesn't do. Look at the ERS difference, but that won't make a difference now coming towards the last few corners. Could do, but none of them can afford to make a mistake at all or get a penalty because Total P's is closer to it as he takes the same line as he's been doing to turn 16. Yeah, Total P's nice and tidy. Total P's has done a fantastic job as well. Those 27 laps went flying by as he makes his way towards the final 2 corners then. Now through the final corner, keep it nice and tight. And there he goes then, he wins the Russian Grand Prix ahead of Walter. Mark finishes at P3 ahead of Jeroen Visser. Ferg in P5, Seymour Gamer will drop down a few positions due to his penalty. As J-Law gets past Het Bompier. Het Bompier's got past him. Now he goes around the outside. And J-Law takes away P10 away from Het Bompier. Duel in P7 from P16 on the grid. Seymour Gamer P8 to Griff P9. J-Law P10. Het Bompier P11. J-Law. Oh, actually, penalties cost him. But Milan, last lap move. No, he doesn't actually. He goes off the track. Actually, Alex ran out of fuel. He did. He ran out of fuel. That's why Milan was so close behind him. Nathan next across the line, P14. And there goes Arthur on his previous best lap time. P15, Valfiore, P16, and the real DC.
To Total P's 2 wins in a row. Am I right, or is it 2 yeah?
2 wins in a row. I can't even remember. What was the last race? Yeah, it was 2 wins in a row. You took it off Jeroen Visser. Yeah, 2 wins in a row.
So on form, a little bit too much, too little, too late for Total P's, but he's on form. I guess it's good momentum going to the next season. I would
love to see next season between Total P's and Walter, because Total P's, he's just turned into a different beast, really.
His racecraft has improved.
Turned into a different caliber of a
my
racer.
driver of the day, Total P's. He kept it calm when he's behind Walter. Didn't lose his composure. Didn't get frustrated. And
My drive of the day towards Total P's, like Harvey Lee said, well deserved from Total P's there. Just did put a foot wrong, managed those 20 laps well behind Walter, and Walter didn't have an answer for him. Almost did, but Total P's just managed to do what Walter did in the first 20 laps.
he did it again, didn't he? Just
So we're just waiting for our drivers to join the party, then we can get going with the interviews. Just bear with us as one of them's joined. Just waiting for Walter and Mark. I think, Harvey Lees, do you think Ferg would be frustrated that's why he made the mistake? Because he just lost the podium at the last lap. Yeah,
I think because of maybe what Mark did, he maybe got a little bit frustrated then. Sort of tried to push a bit too hard, lost it under traction, and then Jerome just sort of got him at the end.
I wanted to say something, but I couldn't say it because there was too much action. But I was just reading some stats that I picked up earlier on, and we're just waiting for one more driver, which is Mark. But Walter has got 6 wins and now 13 podiums. That's just changed due to this race. P's 9 podiums, 5 wins. Jeroen Visser 7 podiums and 2 wins.
Interesting stats.
Has Mark joined the party?
Not yet, no.
If he joins, he joins. But
Hey, Joe, now.
There he is. Always the last man to join. Mark, mate, we'll start with you as you've been in third place, third to first. How was your race? Because you started down in P8, then on the last lap you absolutely sent it. I got up into P3. Just walk through your race, mate.
I'm not happy.
You're not happy?
No, because apparently the way I overtook Ferg was unfair, and I had a bit of a dive bomb in lap 1 as well, which I might get a point for. I don't know yet about that situation, but about how I overtook Ferg in the last one, I don't know. I tapped him slightly.
Yeah.
Before the corner, he went a bit offline. He didn't go off track. He was just like halfway on the curb, halfway not.
Yeah.
I got a bit of momentum on him. Then we went side by side, and over there took him fairly. But the way I got the momentum maybe wasn't fair. We'd have to take it to the stewards. But I'm definitely confident. I don't think I'm going to keep this podium.
To be honest with you,
Unfortunately.
to be honest with you, Mark, I'm glad you've been very honest with us. Glad you are. So you think you're not going to get the podium?
No, I think I'm gonna get a penalty and push down to P5 because Ferg will pass me and Jerome will pass me. So overall, I think my pace is really good.
How was the tyres out there going throughout the whole 27 laps? Were they okay?
I had full tire pressures. I kept them on for the race, so I barely got any tire wear. At the end, they were only like 55. Where compared to others, Ferg was on like 85. He was so close to puncture. Wouter was on pretty bad one as well. So, but for me, no, the tires were okay. I had solid pace, so around this is the last overtake. Still a bit sketchy. I'm not happy about. So.
Yeah, I'm glad you admitted it, mate. Other drivers probably won't do it, but unlucky, mate. If you don't keep this podium, then P5, still a good result, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll take it. I mean, would still finish ahead of the competitors for P4 in the championship, which is Seb, Het, and AJ. Still would finish ahead of all of them, so I would still be fighting for the P4 in the championship. So.
Yeah, nevertheless, you still gained points on your main rivals, like you said, Seb, Het, Bompia, and AJ. But we're going on to Brazil next week. How are you feeling for that, mate?
Not bad. I think I have some decent pace in Brazil. We'll see how it goes.
Alright then, Harvey, have you got any questions for Mark?
Mark, decent race. I was just on board with you when you had that little touch with Ferg. How were I'm just interested to know how the tyres were on the last few laps, because you didn't pit, did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't need to pit. My tyres were pretty good, I felt. So.
Right.
No need to pit. I kept the pressures full, which wasn't something common. I know P's only put down like 1 tick to each tire. In the rain, you're supposed to put them down a little bit, but I completely forgot, and I guess it came out to my advantage because they worked out pretty well. Barely weared at all. So.
Alright, fair enough, mate.
I'll keep that in mind. That's good advice for me when it comes to a race. Thank you, Mark. Anyways, we'll move on to P2 now to Wouter. Wouter, mate, led 20 laps of that race. You kept, despite being under pressure, you never made a mistake at all. Just talk us through your race, mate. Do you feel a bit frustrated with that result?
No, just boring. I would have loved to try Russia race, but just a bit boring.
How were the tyres during towards the end? Because you must have been pushing so much, trying to keep P's behind and trying to attack him as well.
My tyres weren't great. I think it was like 77%. So I was worried getting a puncture last lap.
Oh.
But overall, they came back to me. The grip was coming back, and they kept getting better and better.
Do you think there was no need for a one stop then?
No chance.
Yeah, because we saw a few people make a one stop. Was you thinking at all about doing a one stop strategy?
Only if there was a safety car and had enough gap, but no. Was it the overtaking is difficult enough here? I just seen with me, P's, everyone on the track. So.
How do you cope being? Sorry.
Oh no, I don't think overtaking was possible. So yeah.
How do you cope being under so much pressure for the whole 27 lap race? Like, what goes through your mind? Is it very hard? Is it challenging?
Oh no, I'm just there. I'm just not.
He's there for fun now.
Yeah, talking a bit. Nothing much going on. Just watching the what was it? I was not running high rear wings, so I needed to watch the slide a little bit. That's the only thing I was really thinking about, and the other thing I was just calm, just going to the end.
Rotation gave some valuable
Yeah.
information.
Yeah.
How are you feeling for Brazil, mate?
Not the greatest track for me, but I think it's going to be close overall in between everyone.
Harvey, got any questions for Walter?
Yeah, mate. You did very well under pressure. Did you purposely reduce your wings, make sure you didn't get overtaken in the race? Because obviously we got told that Toto Pease was running high wings, and that's why I was able to stay behind you for so much of the race. But was that a tactical move to have lower wings than Pease?
I was thinking about in quali. I was trying to go 9.8 in quali or 10.8,
Yeah.
but I just kept it on 9.7 for quali, and then I just thought I can deal with it. And
Okay.
it was working fine till one lap. So I still think the move was a little questionable. Like I have to watch it back, but
Yeah.
overall it was fine.
You would blitz it on the. I mean, total Pease would get really close to you on the entry of corners, and then you'd absolutely blitz it on the exit. And no matter how much ERS you used, you just couldn't get anywhere near you.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, every DRS every stray I could just use my rest and be calm. I wasn't really worried about getting overtaken.
Yeah.
Moving on to Total Pease then. Total Pease, mate. Well, not only you won the race, but you extended the gap towards Total Pease. How do you feel? You worked so hard as well because you were stuck behind Walter throughout the whole of 20 laps. You must have been frustrated being stuck behind him, but something must have happened because I think Walter outbroke himself, and therefore it gave you a switch back, and you managed to get it through there. So talk us through how it went.
I think I was very lucky because what happened at the end of the straight, the braking, it caught me out by braking, broke a bit too late. Tried to dodge him, but I ended up hitting him slightly in behind. I got damaged myself, hence why when I got ahead of him, we were getting caught so dramatically by everyone. But then I think it unsettled him slightly, and then I tried to just put my car there, and eventually I managed to get ahead.
Oh, I didn't even know you had damage, mate. But was it front wing damage
Yeah.
or yeah?
Yeah, it was front wing damage. I hit Walter's rear.
How do you keep calm despite knowing that it's very hard to overtake around here, especially behind as well? 20 laps stuck behind Walter. Well, what do you feel like? Do you feel like there's no way through anymore?
It's hard for sure because, like, the thing it's not the first time either of us has been in this position for the season either. It's happened at like Zandvoort, Belgium, Imola. It just constantly, it's just about keeping your head in and just waiting for mistakes. But it's very hard to get past Walter because he doesn't make mistakes. Hence why he's so far ahead of everyone right now.
Yeah, I agree with that one too. But more importantly, you extended your not championship lead. You extended your lead over Total Jeroen Visser, so that must be still a good feeling for you. Because there's one more race left to go.
Yeah, hopefully I can set it in stone next week. But Brazil, anything can happen. Penalties, it'll be a long train. We'll see what happens.
Anyway, well, congratulations for a good race because I think you fully deserved it after being stuck behind him and and having to defend from him as well with that straight line speed of his. So you did a very good job to get a good launch coming out the final corner because that was the main reason why Walter stayed ahead and you stayed ahead as well. That final corner, just get a good launch and those guys not able to catch up.
Yeah, I was just literally my main aim was just to get a good launch at the last corner every single lap.
Also, you also picked up 2 warnings. So one, was it were you feeling a bit under pressure, knowing that one more mistake could lead you to a penalty?
Yep, I was. My pants are brown, put it that way. Because the understeer could have taken me anywhere, and it was just tough. So yeah, I was just hoping I could keep it clean. Because if I dropped 3 seconds, I probably would have dropped down to like 5th because everyone was catching because I was holding well because I had damage.
I don't know. Have I asked this question already? But how are you feeling for Brazil? Have I asked that already?
Yes,
Sort of, but yeah, you said it's about. But yeah, for me,
Oh.
it's just it'll be. It's alright. It's gonna be a train. Like there'll be like a 8-car train, so it'll just be whoever can keep it clean, get out the penalties and stuff like that.
Anyways, Harvey Lees, you got any questions for Pease?
Congrats, Pease. you're on back-to-back wins at the moment. Obviously, you can't really make it to get the championship, but how do you feel going into the next season if you are competing in the next season? Do you think you can be even closer to that than you are now?
Hopefully I can just not... hopefully I can start the season and actually finish races. That might help.
And get that dodgy Wi-Fi out of the question.
Yeah, get the Wi-Fi sorted, finish the start of the season. Hopefully I can give him an actual challenge.
Yeah,
I think you will.
Yeah.
I think you will.
Yeah, if you do what you did today and last week, you're
And the weeks
definitely
before.
in the fight. Yeah.
Thank you.
Anyways, Walter, you've got some competition next year, eh? If you're still there.
No, I don't. No.
Anyways, Harvey Lees, thank you for joining me today. It's
Thank
good.
you, mate. Thanks, guys. GG.
Yeah.
See you guys.
GG.
See you all next
Go for
week at Brazil at 8:30 for the final race of the season. Could be an absolute thriller, given the nature of the track.